Hey, and a very warm welcome to the Into the LightWeb podcast with me, your hostess, Joanna Hunter, metaphysical teacher, spiritual life and business coach, published author, and the high priestess of the LightWeb, a spiritual technology that will change your life. This is the place to be to talk everything under the LightWeb, from consciousness, relationships, to money, to spiritual business, and everything in between. Hey, and a warm welcome to a solo episode of my podcast. I've been sent, I get sent questions all the time, and I love a good question. And this question has been sent by one of my dear clients, and she has had a family member contact her and say that she believes that someone has tried to curse her. And I wanted to get into this subject because this is a really, really juicy subject. And there's probably every single month I see something of this ilk coming up, something either around what's known as the evil eye. So we're going to get into that in this episode. I also see things about curses, hexes, bad juju, all that kind of things, karma, bad luck, all that kind of stuff as well. So this is going to be a juicy episode. If you want to hear mine and Skylar's take on this, then stick around. So first of all, let's put some context to the question I heard. So my client has a friend who is a social worker, and this social worker was working with a family from another culture where she had to deliver some bad news, not choices that she had made, but policies, had to deliver some bad news. And this family literally warned her that, this is going to be bad for you. Then she has gone out to her car and found on two separate occasions a black ribbon tied to the car, which she has felt is very odd. And she is wondering if this family are in the process of either cursing or hexing her. Okay. So I've had loads of people talking about, I've had people who have come to me asking me to remove curses, asking me to remove hexes and things like that. So first and foremost, I think it's really important for me to tell you my stance about this. So Skylar teaches that there is no one more powerful than you in your life. There is no one more powerful than you. Okay, so if we think about somebody cursing or hexing us, then therefore what we are kind of doing is telling a story that another person has more power than us. Okay, so my number one tip is don't do that. There is no one more powerful than you. Okay, and I work from this principle that there is no one more powerful than you. So yes, can people send you bad energy? Yes. Can people send you hexes, curses, voodoo, bad juju, spells, cast spells on you? Yes. But they are like gifts. And what happens if we don't accept the gift? If we don't accept the gift, we say, no, thank you. I'm all good here. Thanks. What happens is that the gift remains with the sender. So let's get into how the evil eye actually works. So let's describe what the evil eye is first and foremost. So the evil eye is something that has been talked about in many, many cultures over many, many centuries and millennia. The evil eye is a concept of energy, and it is a concept that somebody can literally cast what's known as the evil eye onto you. So what that means is that things like jealousy, for instance, can cause bad energy for someone else. So somebody else is just getting on with life, but they have a lot of jealous people around them. That is known as probably the most simplistic version of the evil eye, and something that we have all participated in. I don't think that there's a single human that hasn't at one point or another perhaps been jealous of another human being, or felt at least a minimal amount of that energy for another human being, or in a situation or a place or something. So none of us are squeaky clean in this energy. We have all been aware, as we're all been through this at some point or stage in ourselves. The evil eye can then go further than just a bit of jealousy into wishing somebody ill intent. And as we build that energy further and further and further and further, that's the energy of the sender. The energy of the receiver. Here's where it gets crazy. And this is one of the things that really, really I love about these teachings I'm about to share with you. So these are actually ancient teachings. And when I first came across these, I came across this through an Arabic man who had a symbol in his hand. And I asked him, you know, what is the symbol that you have? And he said it was to ward off the evil eye. And he told me this concept, and then later on, my Kabbalah teacher also taught me this concept of the evil eye, and furthermore, Schuyler's teachings have really backed this up. So as the receiver of the evil eye, so the sender of the evil eye is things like jealousy, ill intent, wishing somebody actually badness, casting spells, wanting to cause harm to another person. So then the receiver, who is usually in this case the victim of this energy, they will, the receiver of this, in order for you to be able to actually receive the evil eye requires a doorway into your energy field, into your life. Okay, so what creates doorways? Because if there's no doorway, it doesn't matter how much another person sends you bad stuff, bad juju, that there's no doorway for it to enter. All energy, good, bad, or indifferent, positive or negative energy, requires a doorway to enter, right? One of the reasons why so many people can't manifest the money that they want is because it doesn't literally have a doorway to enter the person's life. Okay, so that's a positive aspect of like where there's no doorway, but also as well, we can make sure that there's not a doorway for bad energy to enter our lives. So here's how we do that. In order for bad energy to enter, we need to have a corresponding energy in our own field. That's what creates the doorway. And it literally creates a bridge between us and the sender. So for instance, the evil eye, like jealousy, for instance, if you engage in gossip and perhaps your own form of jealousy, you have a doorway inside of you that when somebody else feels jealous about you, any negative energy that they're sending may possibly enter that doorway and through that, because you create the way, because you have a corresponding and equal energy to it. So this is fundamentally the groundwork of this. As I started learning from all of these different teachers about the evil eye, one of the things that really made me really understand was that the fact is that like energy attracts like energy. It's law of attraction again. So if like energy attracts like energy, and the law of attraction simply states that it has to be an equal and opposite, it has to be an equal energy for it to come in. Like energy attracts like energy. If we do not have the like energy of this, so other ways that we open a doorway or we create a portal into our own energy field is by believing that someone can do that to us. By believing, we literally create the portal by giving them the power. We say, I totally believe that you can send me bad juju. I totally believe. And what we're actually also doing is, and I hear people say this, and this is the one that makes me really facepalm and go, oh my Lord, when they say, well, what can I do? What can I do? Like, it's not like I have a choice. And I'm like, but you do, but you do. And so often what happens is when we're sending when somebody is sending negative energy to us, don't open the portal. Don't open the portal by believing that they have the power over you. As Skylar teaches, you are the most powerful energy and being in your life. What I like to do is, if I'm aware that somebody is sending negative energy to me, what I do is I return it with love. Love transmutes. Love is one of the most powerful energies within this universe. And so I return it with love. I do not return it wishing what they were wishing onto me, onto them. Absolutely not. Because if I do that, I open a doorway for bad juju, because I'm doing exactly what they're doing. They're sending me bad juju and I'm like, I'm sending it back to you. I don't want to play juju, bad juju ping pong. That is not a fun game. Instead, what I do is I wrap that energy in a big ball of pink and golden white light, love, and I say, I send it back to you with love, and I hope that this is transmuted into your life, into pure love and light. And then I just allow that energy to like simply not come in anymore and out to that other person. So when we are encountering things where people are doing big spell work, it comes down to often what I would call a battle of wills. That's it, right? Is your will stronger than someone else's will? Now, nobody is more powerful than you in your life. So you actually have the upper hand in this battle of wills. But it depends on how deeply you're ingrained in the stories that these people may be more powerful than you, that you are in big trouble, that these people are going to really, really affect your life, that these people are going to really, really hurt you in some way, shape, or form, and that they have the power to do that. The more that we are attached to those stories, the bigger the portal opens, and the more we actually start to take on the energy of the hex, the curse, and all of these things. Curses is another cool subject that I would love to touch on, because curses can be generational. So curses can be literally handed down through your lineage, through your line, and same with hexes. They can be handed down through your lineage. And again, it only requires one person to say, ain't buying what you're selling. But with a curse, what we've got is we've got an additional, what I call meaty and weighty story. So if your great, great, great grandmother got cursed and all the women in your line have been cursed ever since, then of course we've got a big old chunky story there. But at the end of the day, it's just a story. It's just a story. And if every single one in your family line decided to align and agree with this story, and that this, curse that was cursed back in 17th century, and our poor family have been carrying this curse ever since, as we build, that story gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It grows arms, it grows legs, and all the rest of it. So at the end of the day, again, we're back to the battle of wills. Are you going to be bigger and stronger than that story? Because that's all it is, because it's shutting that story down, which shuts the portal down that allows the energy to be siphoned from you, or your energy to be disrupted in some way, shape, or form. The law of attraction does not cease working, even when somebody is cursing you or hexing you. So the best way to actually energetically protect yourself, and we're going to talk about energetic protection as well, because this is a super interesting and juicy subject too. So the best way to energetically protect yourself is just do not engage in crappy behavior. Don't engage in things that literally create portals and negative energy in your field. The more you engage in behaviors like that, like talking negatively about people, like gossiping, like jealousy of others, all of these things are all creating portals which are just damaging to us, because we're just opening ourselves up for like energy. And so the key here is treat others how you wish to be treated yourself. And the squeakier and cleaner you can be in that energy, the less you'll have to worry about other people's energy. So going into energy protection now, and as we start to move the subject along into protecting yourself more, here's another thing that is a paradox. The more you protect yourself, so the more you call on protection, the more you cleanse your energy, the more you do all of the things that you think are helping you, you are also calling in that which you need to be protected from. Okay, so this comes from Skylar's teachings, and these teachings are really, really profound. So in order for you to be in victim energy, you always require a victimizer. Okay, so this is one of Skylar's teachings. So if you are in victim energy, you're feeling hard done by, you're feeling like, woe is me, you're feeling like you've just been cursed and hexed and all of these things, and you're feeling pretty not so good, right? So we are in a victim role, we are in a victim energy because that is how we're feeling. We're feeling like outside forces are doing something to us. The more that we tell that story, the more that story is going to require what's known as a victimizer. So we need a baddie for the story, right? We're telling the story, so we are the main character in that story, but we are saying that outside forces are doing things to us, so therefore we are not in an empowered state of being and mind. And the more that we say that, we need that outside force then to be applying the badness, right? So if we take that principle of Skylar's here, the same with protection. So the more attention that we give to protection, and the more we tell ourselves, I require to be protected, the more we tell that story, the more we require protection. I know. Let me back up there again. I'll say that again. So the more we tell the story that we are requiring protection, and the more protection we apply on, and we're like, we got our black tourmaline, we got our Apache tier, we got crystals in our bras, we're cleansing the crap of our energy, we're cleansing our homes, we're doing all of these things, and we're protecting ourselves up the kazoo, we're standing in a big white column of light, we're doing all of the things, we're calling on all the angels, we're calling in all the energy. The more that we do that, we are literally feeding the negative as well as the positive, right? So the positive thing is we're protecting ourselves out of the kazoo, but because we're applying so much protection, an equal and opposite energy has to arise, because that's the law of duality. So the law of duality says, well, an equal and opposite energy needs to arise. You've placed all these protection. So now, if you're a victim and you require this level of protection, then here's what we're going to do. We're going to give you an equal and opposite energy. So we need to have a victimizer that literally can meet you at that level. And so that's another way that we open a doorway into our own energy. That's not to say that do not ever protect yourself. Absolutely. But one of the ways that I work with protection is I work with it in a very subtle way. I do not make it a main practice for myself. And the reason I do not make it a main practice for myself is because I simply do not believe, as I am taking the role seriously of I am the most powerful energy in my life, and I am taking that role seriously. I am owning that role. And as I own that role of full empowerment for myself, do I really require, as the most powerful piece of my life, do I require all the protection? I don't think so. And so what I do is I will do very subtle protection, like for instance, so one of my practices that I do is placing a huge big white column of light in myself. So I place myself in that white column of light, and I extend it above my head, I extend it below my feet, and I extend it 6 feet out from the tips of my fingers. So it's really a giant, giant column of light around myself. Now I do that for 2 levels. Yes, it's a level that creates a bit of a filter between the outer world. but I don't make a big thing of it. But the other thing as well is that it's a beautiful way to connect with source. And that way means that I'm always connecting with source, which is where my power stems from in the first place. So if I connect with source, which is where everybody else's power stems from as well, even that bad juju power stems from there as well, right? So power stems from source, force stems from the void, the absence of source. So in order for me, so again, I am creating a protection, but I am not making the main focus of protection, because if I make the main focus of protection, I start to weave a story and a narrative for myself that I require a lot of protection. I require lots of protection. I require lots of things. Do I cleanse my energy? Yes, I cleanse my energy. But again, I don't make it a big thing. And the reason I don't make it a big thing is I cleanse my energy, just to slough off old energy, a bit like just the way that I would cleanse my skin, or like use a loofah in the shower on my skin, just to take off dead skin cells. I do exactly the same thing to slough off dead energy. That's it. But again, do I make that big thing like I need my energy cleansing? I've got all this other people's energy all up in here. No, because the more I read that story, the more a victim I become, the more I require victimizers in this life. So in order for you to require protection from the outer world, and we can argue that, well, I'm being proactive, so I'm actually being empowered. But if you're telling the story and the narrative that there is a body in the outside world that can affect your energy so much that you require all of this protection, then what we're actually doing is rolling out the red carpet and opening our energy field into this world. And I know that these opinions that I'm sharing today are maybe controversial. I know that some people are not going to agree with them at all. They're going to be like, no, you need to like save yourself from entities and stuff like that. There is no one more powerful than you in your life, for you are source. And yes, that power lays with other people, but you are an individual expression of source. Source would not have given you that individual expression if it did not know that you were capable of wielding the full might of the source power. And so if you imagine if somebody else is fully empowered, but in order to send other people bad juju, by that very nature, you would never be fully empowered. To wish someone ill, you are never fully empowered. It's always coming from the absence of source and not coming from source itself. You wouldn't curse somebody. From the place of source. The only place that people curse people from is from the place of what we call in my world the void, the absence of source. And I'll tell you a funny story. I was once doing readings in a mall, in a local shopping mall called Eastgate Centre, and I was doing readings there. And when a woman found out what I was doing, a woman was passing and she found out what we were doing readings, and we had a lovely kind of canopy and tent thing all set up, and tables and chairs, and people came in and we did a lovely little reading and things like that. But this woman came up and she got really upset that we were psychic mediums and that we were doing readings. And she cursed me in the name of Jesus Christ. And as she cursed me in the name of Jesus Christ, I said to her, thank you very much. And she got really angry. And she said, well, didn't you hear what I said? I curse you. I curse you. And I said, yeah, but thank you. Thank you so much. That's so kind of you. And she got really angry. And she's like, I curse you in the name of Jesus Christ. And I said, yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. I don't think you understand. I'm cursing you in the name of Jesus Christ. And I said, yes. You're cursing me in the name of a man who taught love. That man was all about love. So thank you. You may keep cursing me in the name of Jesus Christ, because I heartfully accept that. Thank you. I accept all the love. I accept all the love that that man stood for. I accept all of the gifts that that man brought to the world and all the things. So thank you so much. Of course, it did not have the desired effect. Her desired effect for me was to be upset, to be hurt, to be fearful, to be angry. I refused to meet her fear with fear, and instead I met her fear with love, and I gratefully accepted to be cursed in the name of Jesus Christ. And, this is it. And this shows you the power play that's in play there, because she was hoping her energy was going to overpower mine. And I was just simply not open and available for that. And let me tell you, my life has been fine since. So, and this is it. So other people will try and do things to you, but ultimately, if you can keep front and center that you are the power in your life, if you can keep front and center that in order for negative energy to kind of penetrate your energetic makeup, it needs a corresponding energy. So the best thing to do is what I call creating squeaky clean energy, where we tidy up our energy. And where I teach that in my world is I teach that in the Unity program, and I teach that in LightWeb of how to create squeaky clean energy. Also, as well, whatever we focus on expands. So if we focus on things like protection and the need for protection, what we do is we expand that need for protection. So what we want to do is we want to create these beautiful practices for ourselves of like connecting with source, as I do in my column of light, but also as well, it creates a layer of protection. But I do not want to be focusing on my need for protection, because the more I focus on my need for protection, the more I need protecting from. So it's about staying in your power, it's about staying in your alignment and staying in your source connection. I hope that you have enjoyed this podcast. We're going to be doing a lot more solo episodes of where we discuss something each week. So keep your questions coming. You can send a question. We'll pop the email in the show notes, but to support@joannahunter.com. And myself and my spirit team, Skylar, look forward to hearing your questions and look forward to walking you through some of these deeper insights that we have for you on the metaphysical world. And I have loved this question. I'm so thankful to my lovely client who sent it in, and I will catch you in the next episode.